Tired of constantly farming cementing paste and organic polymer? What if I told you there was a creature that could produce it for you? Passively. Hey everyone, I'm Willow, and welcome back to the channel. I'm excited to announce the start of my brand new Creature Spotlight series where we'll explore the taming process, the pros and the cons, and my honest opinion on whether each creature is worth your time to tame in Ark. Sometimes I might even have another survivor drop in and share their thoughts too. In this first episode, we are taking a look at the Achatina, the surprisingly useful giant snail that can provide you with a constant supply of the very valuable Achatina paste, a fantastic alternative to cementing paste. Alright, now that we know what the Achatina can do for us, the first step is preparing the only food that you can use to tame it, and the only food that it eats: sweet veggie cakes. To do that, you are going to need some sap. So you'll see me here in the redwoods gathering sap from taps that I placed yesterday. And once we have a decent amount, it's time to head back to base. Well, that wasn't very far, was it? So now that we're back, let's get those sweet veggie cakes cooking. At this particular base, I've not progressed very far, so I'm using a regular cooking pot. While an industrial cooker would certainly help speed things up, a basic cooking pot works just fine. We just need to manually add some water. Let's take a look at the ingredients that you'll need. You'll need 4 of the sap that we just gathered, 25 fiber, 2 giant bee honey, 2 long grass, 2 rock carrot, 2 savoroot for a stimulant, and of course, your water. With all the ingredients in the pot, we can get these cooking. As you can see, it takes a little bit of time, but the process is straightforward. You need to make enough of these to fully tame your Achatina, but for the purpose of this guide and to save some time, I am showing the process of only making 1. Now that we have the sweet veggie cakes ready, we have one more preparation step. Achatina have a very low torpor stat, and their torpor drops pretty quickly. This means that you'll need a supply of narcotics to keep them unconscious during the taming process. I'm grabbing some narco berries from my mammoth here, but you can also use narcotics or biotoxin if you have those things available. With our sweet veggie cakes and narcotics ready, it's time for us to find ourselves a suitable Achatina to tame. What is going on? Luckily, it seems that Sarko is having some trouble actually getting to that Achatina. Let's go save him. The swamp is definitely not the safest place to be doing any taming, so let's find somewhere nearby that is a little bit more secure to knock this guy out. Okay, new plan. I definitely don't want to tangle with those jerk birds while trying to tame something. Alright, we have reached a nice, safe spot away from any potential threats. Now it's time to gently persuade our Achatina to join the tribe. Now that he's out, let's get those sweet veggie cakes into his inventory. I'll place all 11 of them in there for now. He probably won't need all of them, but it is better to be safe. And now we wait. Taming can take some time, and with my current server settings, this little guy will be out for about 20 minutes. So we'll fast forward until the end of the taming process. Welcome back. It looks like our Achatina is just about ready to wake up. He's got 6 sweet veggie cakes remaining. He is about to eat one of those for his final food, which means that he only needed a total of 6 cakes to join the tribe. There he goes. He is fully tamed now. Let's give him a name. Turbo it is. All right, now that Turbo is part of the family, let's head back to base. One of the big benefits of the Achatina is how it produces Achatina paste and organic polymer without you having to do anything. If you put it on Wander, it will automatically create those resources for you as it moves around, leaving little trails on the ground. This means that you don't have to go out and farm it yourself. Also, it makes resources right in its inventory. Achatina paste can stack up to 100 and organic polymer can stack up to 20. He will only create 1 stack at a time, so be sure to check his inventory often. All right, so we've got Turbo here happily sliming away in the background. Let's talk about why you might want to add one of these guys to your base. The first big plus, obviously, is the Achatina paste. This stuff is super useful for crafting all sorts of things, and having a passive source is way better than having to go out and farm up a ton of chitin and stone, and even risking a trip over to the beaver dam, especially on maps where beaver dams are scarce or non-existent. And the second major benefit is the organic polymer. It's not as much as you'd get from, say, killing a Carcanos, but it is a steady trickle of resources that can be a pain to get consistently. Definitely a nice little bonus to have without any effort, and even though it is a slow trickle, you can always tame multiple Achatinas to increase your output. And finally, when it comes to taming them, they are surprisingly easy to knock out. A couple of decent shots and they're down for the count. No crazy traps, no complicated strategies needed for these guys. They are super simple. Not all is sunshine and snail trails. There are a few downsides to consider. The biggest one, in my opinion, is that they only eat sweet veggie cakes. This means that you're constantly having to farm those ingredients. And while they do produce resources passively, the production rate can be pretty slow, especially if you need a lot of paste or polymer quickly. Yeah, you're not gonna get stacks of it overnight. That is, unless you have a mod pulling it for you. Finally, their wandering can be a little bit unpredictable, so keeping them in a secure place is important to prevent them from getting into trouble. Personally, I enjoy letting them roam the ground floor of my buildings, especially my greenhouse, as they look quite adorable there. However, if you prefer to keep them contained while still benefiting from their wander ability, you could try placing stones in their inventory to weigh them down while ensuring that the sweet veggie cakes are in a food trough instead of their inventory. Be mindful that other dinos might eat their food from the food trough though. If you have a steady supply of sweet veggie cakes, this might not be a major concern. Another option is simply to put them on wander within a small enclosed pen. You can probably even put them in wooden cages. Ultimately, you'll want to take precaution to avoid losing your Achatina to predators due to wandering. So, with all of that in mind, is the Achatina worth taming in Ark Survival Ascended? For me personally, absolutely yes. My favorite creatures in Ark are the ones that provide a utility or a passive resource, and the Achatina fits that bill, for sure. It takes a little bit more work on my part to make the sweet veggie cakes, but once you get to the mid to late game, the resources that you need for those cakes become super easy to acquire. I will admit that it is harder to maintain them in the early game though. If I am ever worried about the slower production that the Achatina have, then I can always just tame me another Achatina that meets my demands. Like if I need 3, well, then I tame 3. Plus, I don't usually have a lot of issues keeping my snail friends enclosed, so for my playstyle, I only see pros with these guys. So that's the Achatina in Ark Survival Ascended. Hopefully this guide has helped you decide if this slimy little friend is right for you and your tribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Creature Spotlight. If you took time out of your day today to come and watch me play some Ark, then you are awesome, and I hope to see you in the next one.